Yeah, Jordan. I think Jordan Love, to answer your question, Greeny, that's the one. That's the one. If you're starting a football team right now, that's the guy you want. And that's exactly the way that Brian Gutekunst, the general manager up there at the Packers, looks at it. They are betting on the future. That future performance projection, they made a huge bet. And all the youth that he has around him, both in the backfield, at tight end, at wide receiver, they're as good at drafting offensive linemen, obscure offensive linemen, and developing them into a strong unit as anyone. He's the one. He's the guy who I think really explodes onto the scene this year. I don't know how both.
Yeah. So I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, I think he's already exploded onto the scene, Jordan Love, quite frankly. I think he did that, many weeks ago from the season. Not even just the playoff performance against the Cowboys. I think it's interesting if we're just looking at this top five list, as well as we can add like Dak in there. Because that's the earlier segment they were kind of debating, should Dak be in that top five list, and now they kind of are asking like, well, okay, listen, we're not talking about who's the best quarterback right now, but necessarily like who's the quarterback that you want to take right now to start your franchise. You could make the argument for Stafford, but he's just older now, right? So if we're not taking these names and saying like, oh, well, what about Stafford when he was 24, 25? Like, we're just looking at like, you have to pick from this pool right now. Who would it be? And it's a no-brainer to me to do Jordan Love. I mean, it really, really is. His ceiling that we've seen so far, that the ceiling that he's already presented to us as high points in the NFL, is already higher than these guys right now. Again, Stafford's tough because he's just older. You're just not going to pick Stafford right now at his age to start your franchise. Or even if you had a team, maybe if you had like 1 year to go and you said, I just need a quarterback for 1 year, who's it going to be? You can maybe make the argument for Stafford even just that 1 year. We just need one more good year. But I'm looking at it for like a next 3-4 year window, which is why Kirk Cousins is still definitely a viable option, and Jared Goff as well. But I'm just going with Jordan Love because his ceiling has shown to be just to be higher. He's shown that he can be an actual difference maker. And at the end of the day, you do want your quarterback to be able to be the difference maker, right? I think you can absolutely win, and I've said this a lot. You can absolutely win and win a lot and win Super Bowls and not necessarily be a difference maker, but you need to be in a great situation, right? You need a great coach. You need a great team. You need a lot more variables to go your way. But Jordan Love, to me, will ultimately make your team more resilient, right? If you get a big injury on offense, someone like Jordan Love has the ability to overcome that. Like Matthew Stafford was able to do in the Super Bowl, losing OBJ. That's a devastating loss. To lose someone like OBJ in the Super Bowl, like better believe McVay had big plans, as we saw in the Super Bowl, considering he was still balled out and he didn't even get to play the whole game. Like, that matters. A quarterback needs to be able to show that resilience and to be able to do that. And Stafford was able to show that. And I just think that Jordan Love clearly has that ability. People are still trying to question whether or not Brock Purdy has that ability. And I do think it's a fair question to ask. But I've always consistently said about Brock is that it's almost kind of like irrelevant because all he does is need to be great with the 49ers. He needs to be great with the players that he has and great with the coach that he has. That's all you need to ask him to be able to do, and he's proven to be able to do that. Like, that's why some of the criticism for Brock Purdy to me is too extreme, because he's proven that he could be great and play elite in that system. Not any quarterback can be great and elite in that system. Just because you have a great team and great players around you doesn't automatically make you great and elite. Otherwise, backup quarterbacks would be able to play in the NFL forever. And we know that's not the case. Okay? So what Brock Purdy does is special in his own right, even if he's not maybe considered to be as much of a difference maker as, say, a Jordan Love or a Matthew Stafford. It just means that they have different skill sets. They can do things differently. And again, I'm a big fan of Kirk Cousins and Jared Goff for that matter, but it's just hard. I think Jordan Love is really, really special. I think what he's going to be able to do with the Packers, because I've also kind of, just kind of what I just said about Brock Purdy, is that Jordan Love, not only do I think he's a difference maker and special, but I think the Packers and him having Matt LaFleur, that combination, the team that he has to be all tied together by LaFleur as well, it's they could be the baby Chiefs. They really can be. They could be the Chiefs of, when did they start their run? Like, 2018 into 2019, I think it was, right? They won in 2019. So like they really are. Like, they're so young, and they have a great young head coach who also has the experience, though, and they're all coming in this together. I mean, they just got the potential to do such big things. I'm going to keep saying this until I'm proven wrong. I think the Packers are literally, what's at stake for them is dynasty building. I really do believe it. I'm not saying that they have the dynasty or that they're going to. I have no idea, but to me, that's what's in reach for them. If they put together these pieces appropriately, and if everyone can stay healthy, if they get, some health on their side, which you always need, no matter who you are, no matter whether you are Tom Brady and the Patriots, Kansas City Chiefs, and Mahomes, you always do need that. It goes without saying. So if they could just get a little bit of luck, which it is, it just ends up being luck. Dynasty, I think it's there for them. I'm so fascinated to see what Jordan Love and the Packers can do going into this season. I would genuinely be shocked. I would be truly shocked if they did not ball out this season. If they just sneak into the playoffs, or they make the playoffs and then they lose the first round, or the first round's like very close and they don't win convincingly. Like, I unless they get a poor luck of the draw and the Detroit Lions are just dominant and the Lions end up winning the Super Bowl, then it's like, all right, listen, the Lions were just a season ahead of you. That's just bad timing. That's just bad luck. That's just the way how football can work. You just got to make sure that you can leapfrog them the following season. And it is technically a possibility. Again, I know Packers fans don't want to hear that, but it is technically, up for offer, as we see them, as the Lions did obviously make the NFC Championship game last season. But I just think that if Jordan Love is actually the quarterback that I and a lot of other people think that he can be, I think that ends up being the difference maker. Because I think when you have a great roster and great coaches, what is the difference maker? It's going to be the Tom Brady. It's going to be the Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be the Peyton Manning. It's going to be potentially the Jordan Love. And that's what I'm excited to find out. Can he be that difference maker? Because if he is going up against the 49ers and it's Brock Purdy and Jordan Love, and I don't believe in the whole quarterback, versus record and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, who can be the difference maker for their team? Is it going to be Brock Purdy or Jordan Love? I'm going to lean on Jordan Love. Jordan Love should be a better quarterback than Jared Goff. So can Jordan Love truly be that difference maker? And I can't wait to find out. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Based off of those names, like, and you had to start a franchise today, not going back in time, who would you pick? Jordan Love, Matthew Stafford, Brock Purdy, Cousins, Jared Goff, and we could throw Dak and even Jalen Hurts into that list if you want to. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.